Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about resigning from your job. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, how do I tell my boss that I'm going to resign? And the short answer is you pick up a piece of paper and you document that you are resigning and the date where you are resigning, depending of course if you have in your region exactly what the rules are, and then you go and talk to your manager. Let me explain. So I think that this question seems to be one that is asked out of fear, or let's call it insecurity. That's a better word. Insecurity around resigning from a job is definitely something that I've seen before. I've also seen developers get exploited because they are insecure, and very, very common strategy among a lot of entrepreneurs who are running smaller companies and so forth is to create a work environment where it's easy to get someone in because on the surface you're a very cool and hip and trendy company, but the way that you run the company is more like a sweatshop where you pretty much expect everybody that in turn from all these little perks such as some cookies, some fruit, or a beer or something like that, well, in return you should put in hundreds of at least several more hours a week into your work effort. And for anybody who's ever done the math on that, that's not going to be a good return on investment. I think that it's such a common thing today to see people in programming get exploited because they're insecure and to make poor life choices because they are insecure, that one of the biggest favors that you can make yourself is to actually work on your self-confidence. And I know that that is as easy to say and it's much harder to do, but it is true. And quite a few developers seem to put more effort into trying to improve their technical skills exclusively rather than actually having a holistic picture of what they're all about. And I think that that is a big mistake, a big, big, big mistake, because your personal skills, so like your social skills and your self-confidence and all of these softer, fluffier things is at least as important as your hard technical skills. Because at the end of the day, if all you have is strong technical skills and no self-confidence, you're still going to get exploited. And if you live your life in a way where all you need to feel good on the inside is to get a pat on the shoulder by somebody who's exploiting you and have them say, wow, you're really good at this thing. Well, there's a lot of companies that are going to give you that if you just have the tech skills. But that's your choice. What I suggest to this person who's asking the question to do is to, as I was stating, take the formal approach, just create a piece of paper that documents that I have now resigned, and then you turn that over to your manager. If you like your manager, you just explain that you've had a lovely time and it's a great company, but due to personal reasons, you're going to look for employment somewhere else. Now, the first thing that's going to happen, most likely, is one of two things. If you're working in a soulless, horrible company, they are just going to go, oh, thank you, and then that's going to be it. If there's a human being that you're talking to on the other side of that desk, they're going to ask, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Why are you quitting? And then have an answer. Either you go completely transparent because now all the pressure is off pretty much. You've spoken your mind, you've said that you're going to quit, and now they're most likely going to be interested in why. And you can be honest here or you can be diplomatic. It doesn't really matter because the hold the person has over you has disappeared. Because remember that, guys, this mental picture that most of the world walks around with, where they feel like I have to be a good employee, I have to work hard, I have to treat my boss with respect, I have to take any shit that's coming my way. All of that comes from one single thing, and that is that if you don't do these things, you may lose your paycheck or you may lose your job. That's no longer true. Now you are equal in every sense of the word. The second you decide to resign, you and your manager are equal in every way. You're just two people talking to each other. There is no power situation whatsoever. Now, I will touch on one thing that may happen here, and it does happen depending on how critical you are to the company, but I'm going to leave it to you to decide kind of how you want to deal with this. So apart from these two other things that may happen, you might get back, well, you can't quit. We depend on you. You're too important. We can't quit. And they might start to try to make you feel bad about quitting. They might start trying to offer you more money or something like that. And all of these tactics, I should tell you right now, guys, is it's just a tactic. It's an act of desperation of somebody who is running their company in a really shitty way. Because that, at the end of the day, that's what it is. A well-working IT company will not try to strong-arm you into staying or anything like that. That's not how because if you build your business in a way where you as an individual developer within the company can't just say that, well, no, I don't feel that this is right for me anymore. Well, then you are way too important to the company, and that is not your fault. You have to do what's right for you, because I can promise you they are going to do what's right for them every single day of the week. Don't kid yourself into believing that now that you're trying to resign and your boss may or may not behave in a way where they try to make you feel bad over that you are a betrayer or you're ruining the company, all of this stuff. Don't listen to it. It's just a scare tactic that they're using, because I promise you, if things were on the other side and the company was going really poorly and they had to fire somebody, they would fire you rather than see the company collapse. And that is, at the end of the day, the only agreement that exists between employer and employee. The only real thing is you have a symbiotic relationship. They need someone to do some work. You do that work and they pay you. That's what it's about. Now, if you have a more in-depth relationship than that, that's great, but that's a voluntary thing. If you're resigning, you have no obligation towards the company to do anything for them. That is on them. It's not your job to tell them how to run the company. And if they're running the company in a way that makes it impossible for you to leave, then that's on them. They have to deal with that. That's not your fault. You've been doing your job. You shouldn't be doing your manager's job as well. So what I want you to take away from this is that the way you resign as an adult, at least if you ask me, is that you write down on a piece of paper or a formal email or something like that. You have to document it in some way that you are resigning. And then you present that to your manager, and then, as I said, you have the discussion. On one part, they might completely just go, okay, sure, and then that's the end of the story. Or they might ask you, why are you quitting? And then you get a chance to talk to them. Give them a diplomatic answer that you prepared before time, or be completely brutally honest if you want that. It depends on what you feel like. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You're still quitting, so it doesn't really matter what you say. Or they're going to try to make you feel as you are doing something bad by resigning. And that's why I say that you have to deal with that how you feel that you should deal with that. But I want you to remember that they would fire you in a heartbeat if they felt that you were damaging the company, or if for some reason they didn't have money, or if anything. I promise you, practically any company would fire you immediately if you were a liability to the company. So what you're hearing now is just scare tactics, because they have been running the company in a way where you became way too important for them to sustain their business. And that's not your fault. Your job is to write code and deliver features. Their job is to make sure that the company is running smoothly. Have a great day.